They play Everton, of course, this afternoon at White Hart Lane. Manchester City, you saw them against Bayern Munich, and you expected them, presumably, like I did, like everyone else in our industry, just as we were about to file our pieces on Tuesday night, that they were going to lose that game 2-1. They didn't. They won it 3-2 because of Aguero's hat-trick. I
just filed 800 lovely words about how Xabi Alonso hadn't made a mistake all night, just as he made a key mistake. But I mean, they were dug out of it by Aguero, weren't they? He's always been a top player, but the one issue when you see a player digging them out like that, I think they talked about it after the game, was just that this can't be a sort of over-reliance. City are maddening, aren't they? I suspect, if you're a supporter, in the sense that you clearly feel that there is, you know, a small pattern has developed of winning a title and then backing off, of just losing some kind of intensity, and that's happened under two different managers now, and which obviously then makes you wonder about key players and how they don't seem to sustain that that drive, and it's hugely damaging, because the fact is that I don't see them win the title. Maybe they'll get closer to Chelsea, but I don't trust that they will play with the intensity and eliminate some of the sloppiness that has seen them drop points already this season.
How much did you see of Aguero when he was at Atletico Madrid? So it's his pre-Manchester City, of course, but he was a top player. They've got a habit, haven't they, of unearthing. Did they unearth him because you...
Well, they signed him to replace Torres when he went to Liverpool. He joined as a teenager, and I mean, unearthing him. Aguero was a big name when he came to Atletico. He was alongside Higuain.
So is Eric Lamela, and look what's happened to him.
I would say Aguero was a notch higher, because he'd already developed a huge reputation. Real Madrid wanted him, and obviously he saw Atletico Madrid as a step up. And then, of course, City come in with the big money. It was always going to be difficult for Aguero to go directly from Atletico Madrid to Real Madrid anyway. He was sensational.
Does he want that move at some point? Real?
Of course, he has wanted that move, you know, forever in his life. And the fact is that Real Madrid have wanted him, but Florentino Perez is in love with Benzema so much, and Benzema has started firing consistently now. Obviously, Benzema is unfortunate because he's had to be compared with a guy who scores 60 goals a season, and no striker can survive that comparison. And actually, Messi and Ronaldo have changed the way we perceive strikers. They make every striker in the world look almost impotent. But Aguero has always been a Real Madrid target. There's no news there. I'm not telling you any news that you don't already know. The reality with Aguero is that there was an interesting stat yesterday, which is why I don't trust the Steve Bruce statistics, by the way, 7 wins over the calendar year. There was a very interesting stat that Wilfried Bony is the top scorer in the Premier League over the calendar year. More goals than Aguero, 18 goals, Premier League goals in the calendar year. Obviously, the best striker in the Premier League for many would be Aguero, hands down, precisely because of, you know, the goals that he scores when they matter. If you're asking me, was Aguero a big Manchester City transfer? He was a huge Manchester City transfer. He was the guy who scored the goal in their history, isn't he?
Yeah. I think, Anthony, what you said about Aguero would like to go to Rio, I think that touches on something that why Manchester City are never quite able to do what a Man United or a Bayern Munich or Barcelona have done in recent history, because I think those teams always have a core of 3 or 4 players that are that club through and through, like the Barca, the Bayern, the Man U team, and I think that's just something, it's quite hard to define, but that's something that Man City lack.
And it doesn't have to be English or local, does it?
No.
I mean,
Chelsea had it as well, didn't they?
Arsenal with Vieira and
I think you need 3 or 4, and Man City, I think that it's a sort of, it's a hard to explain, but it's a weakness somehow in them, and it makes them inconsistent, and it makes them, you know, Touré is unsettled as well, isn't he? You don't look at their team and see 3 or 4 players who you say they want to finish their season.
We do worry about
their career at Manchester City.
Listen, this Aguero thing, he doesn't want to. I didn't say he wants to go to Real Madrid now, but you know, it has been on the cards for him for many years, and it simply hasn't materialised. and it doesn't, you know, it looks unlikely to materialise anytime soon at this, you know, I don't want to create any misapprehension.
They've got a big game this afternoon at St Mary's, that's for sure.
They'll have
Against,
to make sure they give them the cake. And then
yeah, that's right. Yeah, we want to finish off on a different note this morning. This is the Sun. Emmanuel Adebayor, will he play for Tottenham this afternoon? I'm not so sure. This is their spread this morning. It's on page